Hello there, how you all doing? It's Ravie Davie here, the Fresh Prince of Ramon Square. This is the 10 Years In podcast. I'm joined with
Georgia.
We are on episode 45 and we're joined by a very special guest today,
Kaden.
So yes, we're on episode 45, and as it's been about a year since we started the podcast, just coming up for a year, we got Kaden on almost a year ago and you all absolutely loved it. So we thought we'd get him on again because the growth in this boy since last time he was on has been amazing. Would you agree, Kaden?
Yes.
I've noticed his wee perm done up because he's obviously coming on the podcast. He's obviously in the house getting it done, getting his man to fix it.
No, I don't miss out this well.
Oh, was your hair not like that the day in wrestling?
No, it was actually down here messing.
So thank you for coming on. Last year I prepared all the questions for Kaden, and this year David's decided he's going to get his finger out his bum and he's going to actually do something tonight.
So I'm obviously just going to wing it. No, I mean that's the way.
Are you really?
The way we do it here. But no, so I actually went back and watched the last podcast just to see how we kind of ended, and we ended it on dry kebabs. But I always remember that I was annoyed at the podcast because we had a show coming up, and it was the weekend of the. So that's actually run about a year on because I said run about a year because it's the year on for the Governor Rumble.
Yeah.
And that was when that show was. So it was just before that. No, it was after it.
Doesn't matter about the dates. We're just talking about this almost a year ago.
Aye.
This is what we do every week.
Right, it was almost a year ago.
Matter.
No, and the big thing I was wanting to talk about, right, is obviously Kaden, when he first started watching the wrestling, coming to see me wrestle and stuff like that, was in a place called the Fairfield Club. That's where we do a lot of our shows. That's where community pro wrestling grew up. And I was wanting to ask him how he was looking forward to potentially wrestling on there in front of all his friends and his family, going from being behind the barricade, the seats or whatever, to then being on the show. And since then we've actually had the Governorversary, and Kaden not only got to perform on the Fairfield Club, but he got to wrestle the big strong man in the very first match. It was a lumberjack match with all his friends from his teenage class running the outside of the ring. They're supporting him, and I just want to ask Kaden, how did that feel? How was that? Tell us a bit about it.
A very stressful week, but leading up to it, it was I don't know. It was a lot of emotions. Excitement, nerves, like anger in the sense of like, oh, I'm scared. I want to get something. Something's going to. But other than that, I was just so excited because the week leading up to it, I was talking to my pals. We were just all talking about it, and got to the point where I was like, see, the night before, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, oh no, I don't want. I was lying in my bed and I was like, you know what nerves that you get before it, you don't want to do it. I'm like, oh no,
I've never actually felt that. To be fair.
Right, but it happens, mate, not just because you don't get nervous now. But I got nerves. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I'm going to mess something up. I'm going to do something where I just got really nervous, and I was like, right, I'll see how I feel in the morning. And I woke up, and the amount of like excitement that I got the whole day, I was just the people in ring crew that day, I probably don't remember it now, but I was the most annoying weed after that whole day, filled with energy. I remember it. I have a TikTok on my phone that I think I just randomly filmed, and I'm going to actually post it at some point. I don't know if it's on there still, but I literally was just sitting there singing, like full tone singing randomly. Like, I was like, why did I do that? And I was just at the top of my head, I was buzzing, and I think that was a debut of the local celebrity that night, because it was the big pink and gold puff, like the sparkly jacket and golden boots. And I remember walking for the first time with that on, and people looking at me as if I'm like, what's that you're wearing? And I'm like, mate, it's a new gimmick, you know what I mean? Because the old stuff wasn't really doing it. I mean, I think I had to step up for such a big show.
So for people who don't know and they've never listened, who's the local celebrity?
The local celebrity is my professional wrestling gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm the local celebrity KAYDEN CROSS. It basically is just me dialed up to 100. That's what it is. So see the stuff that I do in that ring, like dancing about, hitting people with my hips, and call myself like stuff like that. I would never do that normally.
Yeah.
But me dialed up to 100. I would say, what else? Somebody asked me a question once, like, how would you describe your character?
Yeah.
And I had to ask him. I asked David, I was like, David, how would you describe me? No, I didn't understand.
And how would you describe him?
I pain not kidding. No, I describe Kaden's wrestling card. I describe him as the ultimate underdog, who has now got all the fans behind him. He's came from. He's got obviously his stories. It's a what do you call it? Yeah, actually, funny story. Actually, so I'll talk about Kaden's story, right? So he's got a very what's the word called? I don't know if it's like when I say sad story. Well, I mean, parts of it is sad, but it's like a very heartwarming story. Heartwarming story, like gone for obviously getting bullied for your size and stuff like that, and then coming through because just recap this in case people haven't seen the podcast. Some people might know you, which I highly doubt anybody that's watching the podcast doesn't know who you're, Kaden. Not I mean, but just in case they don't, Kaden's story is quite heartwarming. The fact that he was a bigger boy when he was younger. He got bullied at a school and stuff like that. He's got a problem with his knee, which means he couldn't be as active, especially if he has been bullied in school. So he wasn't getting to do the stuff that a lot of kids do. And then he found the wrestling school, and he didn't look back. He was coming to train every single day. There was a time where he was wrestling, coming to the wrestling school 6 days a week. And he built his confidence up, and then the people that were bullying him back in the day were now trying to be his friends and talk to him, and through that as well he's built up a lot of friendships and stuff like that. Got himself his first girlfriend through it all. Don't worry, don't need to go to that. He built his confidence up to the point where now Kaden is a ticket seller on the wrestling shows. He's on all the posters. He's a completely different boy for the wee pest that was pestering me to start a wrestling school on the bus. He is now, even though obviously he's still very immature, he's grown up into a young adult through the wrestling and
through David.
And no,
no, mate, I'm not even like. See, I'm saying this through like a loving way, right? But see the amount of stuff that isn't wrestling related that he's taught me. It's like the most. It's like so the new it's a wrestling summer camp. It's the Glasgow wrestling summer camp now, and I'm technically working for Davie, right? And see the amount of stuff that he's like, there was, I think, what was it? There was something you said to me yesterday. It was like,
yesterday was Sunday.
No, it was like you wouldn't be talking to your, what was it? I think I said something to you and you were like, you wouldn't be saying that to your boss because we'd get sacked. Because me and him were arguing. It was like, you wouldn't be arguing with your boss there or else you'd be sacked. I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. So I have this weird thing where I can't shut up, right? If he says something to me, right, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and take that. But there is one thing that will happen where I will just shut up.
Yeah.
Second Dimensions bookings. He's like, oh mate, you're a fish. I'm like, whoa. Right, I'm sorry. Right, I'm sorry. Because we can argue, but you take my bookings away and I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up. But anyway, David has helped me a lot with outside of wrestling things and like saving money. Earning money, confidence as well. Like, see, even though just outside of wrestling, like, see the confidence you get from wrestling is confidence you can use inside of wrestling, but he's also given me like the confidence to go outside of wrestling and
confidence to chat up birds and all you, man.
No, fair enough as well. That's fair. Is
that true?
Yes, that is true. That's true. I'm not going to die. But a lot of different confidence he's given me. But the summer camps definitely the fun part. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a job, to be honest. It's like having fun with the kids. To be fair, you get battered a lot, but other than that, I mean, it doesn't even feel like a job.
It's probably rewarding as well because all these wee kids in the 5 to 11 class and they look up to you.
Kaden went the first of us at summer camp. Kaden was the first 2 summer camps. Kaden was every single day and paid for full time. Now he's obviously there earning money for it.
That's brilliant.
That's good.
It's see like that.
I felt in the pocket before.
see the way I see it, right? I'm going to say this way, like see that way where like David, or I don't obviously know what it felt like, but obviously see when you teach somebody for the very beginning and you just see them change into a different person and like you watch them with your own eyes change and become a more confident person, like that's happened with me now and I'm like, whoa, because at Pollock we had a show in Pollock, Belfast and Furious, and a wee boy called Aiden done his entrance.
Yeah.
And that, man, I was so emotional.
Yeah.
I was like, that boy had no confidence. And now he's in there dancing up, doing all this entrance. And I'm like, mate, so shout out to Aiden, mate. Love you, bro.
So I want to take it back to why I was even saying about Kaden's heartwarming story, right? I was actually just want to tell you it, right? Because the funny thing is, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, right, about his story and all that, and Kaden, we were talking about me and Kaden selling tickets and stuff like that. We get into, as we do, we started arguing. Kids end up going like that. I've got a better story than you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like the war of the fucking sad stories.
The X Factor song story.
It's literally, it's like, I talk about being bullied and he talks about his mom.
Every given opportunity, dude, like, my man's teeth.
Camden. It's
not
like,
deep.
No, it's actually like, it brings it out of the blue, man. It's like, you're just talking about something, man, and it's like, oh my God. I was actually in training once and I went, you know that way where it was my sister's birthday recently, and I was like, you know that way where your sister or your mum writes a card and puts your name in it, right?
Oh, no, but gone.
But I basically just went, you know that way where your parents write your name on a card, and he was like, what was that? And I went, oh no. I'm like, and he was like, no, finish what you're going to say. I was like, you know that way when you put your parents write your name on a card for your, and he was like, no, I don't know that way because my mum's did. I'm like, babe.
He always finds a way to lower the tone with the mad jokes.
And I'm like, but he was like, I know. And then he went to that, obviously answered, but I know he managed to bring it into Eton. That's a talent.
Yeah.
But no, so Kaden's, as I said, I wasn't actually saying that to say Kaden's. I wasn't actually saying that to say Kaden said he'd get a better story. I'm just bamming up about that, having a joke. But no, Kaden has got a very Kaden's story connects a lot with the wrestling school, and it's something I want to ask him as well on the podcast, because he was there when we started off in the small room in the Royal Oak Hall, then we moved to the Parkville Hub, and now we've moved to the church. And Kaden's actually been there every part of the journey. He was in the first room doing the 2 days of the registration. He was at the Parkville Hub, and now he's at the church as well. So how's that feel for you, Kaden? How's that changing your life?
I don't know.
Do you feel like a difference in like CPW as a whole since like back then?
100%.
Like, what differences do you feel?
In the sense of like different talent, like the amount of different talent that we have now is like, obviously the shows back then were amazing. Leighton Buzzards is away, obviously, to Japan, so like all like.
Luckily you say that, I sounded like that.
Leighton Buzzards away, so like obviously, but then we started moulding different talents.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who won their own shows before back then, who managed to like, not try to say change, because CPW were never bad, but like change stories and make different things. Like Nick Justice, look at that. He's a brilliant thing for it. He was a main bad guy.
Yeah.
So when you see Nick Justice, you're like, oh, boo that guy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, and more talents are appearing left, right, left, right, and centre. It's like I can see like CPW becoming this amazing thing. You know what I mean? Like it's going to become heavy, big, probably all about Europe, to be honest. But the way I see it is,
Georgia.
The way I see it is like, see for like the first room we went into, I remember walking in through that door and just like, I didn't even care about the room, to be honest. It was just a ring. So like I didn't realise that the room was small because the ring was giant. I know that sounds that, but I was in that ring loving life, and obviously in that room I was like,
also as well, if it means you get a big group member as well, you struggled to even get in the ring at the first time. No, but you did.
It took me a while, man.
What age were you then? 13?
No, you just turned 14 because you'd been 14.
The induction day was September, wasn't it?
No, you're October was September.
Because I was 13. 13.
Your birthday in a couple of weeks.
My birthday was a few weeks later, so I was 13 when I was in the induction day. It took me about 20 seconds to get in that ring. Like I was actually trying to pull myself up, and I had my mom to have to push me up.
Yeah.
But it was I think it was just being in a ring.
You're flying about the ring, just clicking up to the top rope.
I know.
It's
actually crazy, the difference.
I see it as like, as David says, when you do something you love, you don't realise like you're losing weight. Like the only reason I realised I lost the weight was because of him. Like, it was like I was coming to training all the time, and it was like, mate, you're looking slimmer now, and I'm like, mate, thank you. but obviously it got to the point where I was like, oh, I need to get new wrestling gear. What do I get?
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I want to get bottoms? But then I need to go shirtless, and I didn't feel confident at the time.
Yeah.
Do I want to get a singlet, but then I need to show my legs, and I don't like the size of my legs.
Yeah.
So I was just in that way where I was like, I don't know if I want to get new wrestling gear yet.
Yeah.
And then when the local celebrity thing happened, I was like, nah, I need to get something. You know what I mean? So I got trunks and a tap, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I don't like the way this tap looks, but I'm obviously still going to wear the bottoms. So I just went, you know what, might as well. And
which trunks, by the way? You need to explain.
Trunks.
People don't think you're talking wee speedos.
Right.
Not we know.
Oh no! No, I would never wear speedos in my life. Don't ever think that. But basically, trunks are what I would call big long trousers. So they're like big, like flares.
Basically
like
that.
Like big. Right, basically, basically a big flares, right? And I see it as like, I remember getting them, and I'm thinking, I don't like that t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Because it was just too baggy on me.
I was going to help that we were all calling you King Mabel.
Oh, 100%. I don't really care about that. I love it. Oh, we'll talk about that soon. But the bottoms were just like, really, I love the bottoms. The bottoms are amazing, but the tap was just weird. So I just was like, I'm going to obviously wear the bottoms, but I just need to find something different. So I obviously got new t-shirts. I got KAYDEN CROSS t-shirts, get yours now. So I got them. So I was like, you know what, I'll just wear one of them and I'll tap it. And I remember thinking, it was like a split second moment where I was in the ring at Ruggy. I think it was Ruggy Slam or Ruggy Rumble. It was with Sakib Ali. I was in, and in a split second moment, I thought to myself, you know what? And just took my tap off. And I was like,
you've been waiting on this moment?
What did I do? No, I was like, everything was flooding my head. And so that's kind of like, people ask me when did I take my tap off, and that was my first day.
No, so I was actually going to ask you that later on, but to be fair, but so you said before that, but you were worried about taking a tap. What was why were you worried? What
just a few things, like obviously the size, like just because it like, I think it was without saying it, these, like them. I was worried about
like your man boobs.
Aye, my man boobs. I didn't want to say that, but my
man boobs too.
Aye, man boobs, right. It was them plus the fact like of that, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. And then
your belly, mate. Don't be scared. It's not a bad word. It's your belly. Your man boobs. No bad words, mate. Don't worry about it.
Basically, it was my belly and my man.
That's what you're making it.
My belly and my man boobs, right? They were the real reason why. Right? But I just kind of thought to me, I was like, in that moment, I was like, see that way where you just don't think and you just go. I just went, you know what? Might as well, and just done it. And then from there on, I was like, I'm never going back.
You see all the things that you worried about, but what was it? What were you actually worried about? People saying something to you, people commenting.
The amount of
did anyone say anything bad? If it was probably the opposite, wasn't it?
Aye, exactly. The amount of support I got for it, and see like the way that everybody like, it was more for like, I was worried people were going to say stuff, and the second everybody was so supportive, people started even saying that I look amazing with the way I look.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just...
And you do? You've lost, what, 12 stone?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's lost more than that,
I think so as well, to be fair.
Probably a wee bit worried to go back, honestly, you know what I mean?
I've had a terrible few weeks with eating, man, so I need to get back. But...
that happens to us though.
So basically, the way I see it, like see my physique, like, after I think I'm that same boy mentally, right? But then see when I'm on shows and I see videos back and I'm seeing this, I'm like, I'm no.
Exactly.
So I'm in that ring and I'm like, first time with my tap off, and I'm see that way where like you have still no click to it. And I'm like, oh I'm in the first ever. I'm like at the start of the match, and I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, oh no. And then I remember finishing the match, and I'm backstage, and the amount of people who came up to me, man, and were like, well done for that. Like people were saying, oh, that's absolutely amazing what you done, mate. Like, that's a big step. And I'm like, there was some support I got for it.
It's good just pushing outside your comfort zone.
Aye.
I was going to say to you as well, like, in the past year, you've had so many massive big moments in terms of being in with, like, really, like, being in with Hornswoggle and things as well. How did that feel for you?
Oh, in with Hornswoggle was an absolute band, like, so funny, because I was meant to wrestle Thatcher, right, that day.
Yeah.
And I remember saying getting to Hamilton, right, and I just finished wrestling at a Grassroots Gala day. just before that. What was
It
it?
was Gallaudet, it was a CPW.
Oh, CPW, was that CPW?
Rings, we had so much
Oh,
on.
fair enough. So,
I told them this about 100 times, not just him, all this full crew.
mate, sorry, it was a CPW Gallaudet that we used, grassroots ring, thank you. So basically what happened was I got to the Hamilton afterwards, and I remember going up to David and I was like, right, same old stuff where it's like, right, what, who have I got Thatcher, stuff like that. And they went, no, you've not got Thatcher. I'm like, what do you mean I've not got Thatcher? And they went, you're in Team Hornswoggle, like with the Govan team. Right? I'm like, what do you mean I'm in Team Hornswoggle with the Govan team? And it was like, yeah. And I'm like, why are you telling me this now? Like, I would, my mind wasn't comprehending that. So it was when I got it, I was like, right, this is where you actually need to now walk in and start battering people.
Yeah.
But that match didn't end very well for me because I got put through a table.
Oh, did you?
You were there?
You were actually there.
I can't remember. Like, I'm sorry, I watch you wrestling 5,000 times a year.
It was a big moment. I got put through a table and then
Roast.
we lost. We lost because of you.
How's it going to be?
I don't know, just wanted, but
I didn't go for a table and get pinned.
That match was, I loved that match.
Oh, was it you that get pinned?
Yeah, it was me that got pinned.
Oh, so it was your fault then.
No, fair enough. But that wasn't the only match that it was big for me, to be honest. There was a lot I've got. I'm so grateful for it. I've wrestled Richard Holiday from GCW, Game Changer Wrestling. That match was phenomenal, man. I've also wrestled Kid Lycos.
Yeah.
I want to run it back with him one day, man. Because that
June SmackDown too,
mate, we need to run it back one day. Okay, that match was fantastic, and I was that was raging that was on the during the storm because there wasn't that many people there. That would have went mental in front of it.
That was annoying back in January.
But other than that, I've wrestled with Ravie Davie. Obviously, I bet you want me to say that. And I've wrestled with a big star like him.
She hates him.
He's a big pain in the arse like him. That's what we know of us. So he does his moan at me and you.
To be fair, I'll tell you this now. One of my favourite matches of all time was teaming with him against Thatcher's Cabinet.
Oh, really?
Just because it was that whole weekend was good because I wrestled. I'm the youngest to ever wrestle for the CPW title.
Yeah.
Still am.
Do you know what? It surprises me and amazes me that obviously you've had all this growth, right? But the amount of other wrestlers that come to CPW that David has booked that ask to wrestle you. Like, people will come out and be like, next time can I come? Can you give me a match with Kaden?
Depends if he can give me a cheaper price of your fee, no? If he's on making requests, man, I've got a request, cheaper wage, please, know what I mean?
But that just shows like how well you've done is that people are like, they want to be wrestling you because you're just the full package, to be fair. Like, the full effort that you put in every week in training, all the outfits, all the like the gear and stuff that you buy is like top tier, puts you to stone you, like you're stone out for everybody. So you just take it really seriously, and that comes across like not only in your character but in the ring as well, with the amount of effort and stuff that you put in.
That's why I think me and David clash so much, is because we both love the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What?
Big Triple H fans here too.
But nah, it's very like, it's like we love. That's why we clash so much, is because we just love it too much. Isn't it?
No, I think we clash so much, Kaden, because you are still quite immature and just a young
But you're
boy,
30 years of age and still immature.
He never grew up till about 2 years ago.
No, but Caden's big thing is, do you know what Caden's biggest thing is? He's a people pleaser. He doesn't like saying no to you, and he would rather just lie to you and pretend.
Oh, guys, they've been having this argument now because Kaden said he was going out flying and lasted 2 hours and David gave him money for it.
No.
And Kaden got a taxi home, and then I had to listen to it on holiday because the rain came on and Kaden went home instead of staying out. And I went, oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, we're not getting into this, man.
Like, we're still arguing about it. Like, last week.
I wasn't actually going to go that, but since George has mentioned that, I may as well get into it. So what happened was, right, Kaden had said he was going to go flying, well, as we had asked him about it, like, step up and help me, right? And
This is when we were in Greece.
And Kaden patched it so now, like I said earlier on, about this is me teaching him. This is me trying to teach him like life lessons, right? So he'd said to us he's got to go flying, right? So obviously, if this was a real job and he'd went and missed a day's work, he's had a warning, wouldn't he? So then he said to me, the more I'll go flying and I'll make it up to you. So I was like, right, wee man, tell you what, go to Penny for me. I'll send you a tenner for the taxi there, and I'll send you a tenner for the taxi back, right? And I was like, and then get Logan, because he's going to come at me and he can help me. He's like, I've got no money for my I've got no money for data, I've no data, I've nothing like that. So I like, no, I tell you what, you man, I'll send you an extra tenner so you can also top your phone up, right? So Kaden goes out and flyers, he's out for about fucking 10-15 minutes.
No,
he sends me a video all raining.
No.
He goes home, right? And he says, so I'm like, so you went home?
No.
And I was like, you better not use the taxis, right? But he's completely patched that part. Just like, you tell your partner, right? Let me tell my part. This is my side of the story. So, Kaden's with mate. So maybe no 15 minutes, and maybe he was out for an hour, right? But I've went for. I was like, so you send me back that money in, mate, obviously for the taxi, because you didn't obviously hope you've got a bus pass. You obviously went home with the bus. He's like, no, I got a taxi home, mate. I was like, all right, so you spent all the taxi money and you've got your phone topped up for an hour's work. And he's like, no, I done this, and he sent me a highlighter of him doing one street. He'd done one street, and he was trying to justify himself.
I done that block.
So I was like, wee man, see if you'd done that in your real job, you'd be sacked. No, I mean, you'd be out the door if you went out and told your boss, I'm going to go out and make up for yesterday, and went out for 1 hour. You'd be sacked. You'd be out the door. So as we try to teach him actual life lessons, but he thinks I'm just being a dick.
Right, okay. So the people pleaser part is true. I didn't stop doing that. Like saying that I'm going to do it. Like,
because you know, he could have done it. Could have just been like, I hold my hands up. I'll come out flying with you when you come back for holiday. And I'd be like, soundy man, right? See you then. But he said he's gone out himself. I'm like, yes. When I get home for holiday, I don't need to go and do any more flying like his kids.
Right, wait. No, so the way I hang, right. So basically, what happened was I go right. So I go to the sanctuary and I would my taxi there, and I'd done a whole block of houses, a whole bunch, and there was closes there. I even done the closes for him, and that's the thing that really annoyed me.
Nothing's ever good enough.
I know, he messaged me, right, and he was like, oh, is that you done? But see, if you look where I went, there was about 40 closes. No 40, obviously, but like, it was about 5. Right.
Just a slight exaggeration.
Right, just a slight
just
one.
8 times less.
Right, shut up, right? Right, the way I see it is, right, I don't, there was a lot of closes, so see, and the closes, there's multiple different flares.
Yeah.
You get a lot more out. So I was out for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Right, 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I messaged Davie prior to it saying I want to be here for about 2-ish years, about 2.5 years, right? I said that to him, and it got to about 1:45 and it started peeing down the rain, right? And I went, you know what? I'm not doing. I'm not staying because I was wearing this. That's it. And I was like, it was actual raining down, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm away home. So that was when Logan came up, and I was like, Logan, mate, I've finished all this and done down that street and all the way back up. So if I'm going to just go back now. And I came back, right? I had to use the money. And after an hour and 45 minutes, so I did a day 50 minutes. Oh, shoot me, David, for 15 minutes, mate. Nothing. But
no, do you know what the best part of the story was, right? So then on the Monday, me and George are coming home, right?
Oh, heavy full.
And Logan's like, I'm going to go to flyer, right? So I was like, I think the flyers are in the church, and Caden's like, no, David, I've got them. I'll go and give it to Logan, right? So we're all thinking the way Caden's talking, he's going to go to Logan and help him with flying. He met up with Logan, gave Logan the flyers, and went back home.
That was a bit cheeky to be fair. Right. That was shocking for me.
But anyway, that wasn't where I was like, actually go when Georgia said that, right? I actually wanted to go to the part where you obviously talk about how I'm helping you with your confidence and helping you with life lessons and stuff like that. And one of the big life lessons I'm always trying to teach you about is that when you're going to eventually get a full-time job, hopefully everything goes well and the wrestling blows up even more, that I can afford to take you on as a full-time staff member when you're you're old enough, not I mean, but when the place grows even more, hopefully we can take you on and that wrestling can be your full-time job.
Right.
But there's been a lot of guys who've been wrestling longer than you who still don't make a full-time living, so we can't really hang up, we can't really put all eggs in that one basket, you know what I mean? But I love Island here.
How'd you know that?
Because that's the part on TikTok, isn't it?
You've been watching?
No, I love watching on TikTok. See when the Moz go up to the dads that don't know what Love Island is, and they like, my Moz talking to my dad. I love
funny.
the videos, they're hilarious. But that's where I get that part of it. But anyway, so Kaden can't obviously always egg in my basket, so I'm obviously constantly trying to teach him about jobs, right? But also as well, I think he done something earlier that actually made him block on TikTok a wee bit, which is, I think it's a sign of his growth and his confidence in that as well, is when Kaden actually nearly got a job. You want to talk about it, Kaden? You want to talk about the situation?
On you go. Oh, what, do you want me to talk?
Right.
So,
As well let you.
So was it a few months ago? Innit?
It was January, just before we moved out to the new place.
It was January, and I went for a job interview for, can't remember what it was. I think it was a broadband job.
Broadband, I sent it.
And basically, it was like one of the cold calls. Something.
Yeah.
And I done an interview, but I didn't know what it was. So I done an interview. Smashed the interview. Like actual, they phoned me that day and went, "We want you to come in. You're gonna make we loved you and all that, right?" And I was like, "No, what? I will." But then I sat for it and I was thinking for a bit, and I was like, the more I was talking to people, I was like, I don't know what this is. So I kind of started talking to people. I was like, "Oh, what is it that I'm doing?" They were like cold calling. It's more like going to door and going to people's houses. And see, the second they said that to me, I was like, "Nah." I just knew. It wasn't even like I just knew. Like, you know what? I no trying to say I'm like, "Oh, any no jobs in it for me," but that one was just like, my anxiety's bad enough. I can't go to somebody's house and do that, and I'm like, "Nah, I can't do that." So I just thought, I just was like, "Nah." And then I said to Davey, I was like, "I've made TikToks saying that I've got this job and I'm got an interview and that. So what do I do?"
A lot of people are proud of you. A lot of people are supportive.
So I just messaged him. I was like, "Mate, what do I do? I don't want to do this job. I said I didn't take the job," and they went, "Just He said, made a video about it, right?" And I was like, "Right, cool." Made a video about it, and I sent him it, right? And I didn't agree at all. I was just basically said, and then I was like, "No, let me do it again." And I started like actual bawling my eyes out in it, and I was like, "Right, I'm going to send it to Davey anyway, but I don't think he'll hang it." And he said, "No, post that one instantly. Like, they just need people to see that." And I'm like, "Right, cool." And now it's 100k views.
Is it?
100k views.
People still watch it?
People still watch it to this day and like it and still say, "Oh, it's alright." And I'm like, see now, that job, I could tell that job wasn't for me, but that
it's a
video,
tough job to do.
see that.
I've done that job before, to be fair. I done it at charity fundraising where you go door to door, people's houses, and it isn't for the faint-hearted. And I was like 25, and it even seems sometimes it can be a bit. Random people are inviting you into your house and all that, and you don't know what their intentions are.
Yeah.
It's very target based, so you kind of feel like you need to go into this person's house even though you don't feel safe because you're trying to get them to buy your product or what it is. So it's not. I don't think it's that. I was even saying at the time when you told me fully what it was, I was like, I don't think that's a job for a 16-year-old boy to be doing. Because you hate flat. For a start, you always moan about the flying. So you're doing that door to door, but you're doing also you're chatting with somebody's door and waiting for them to answer, and then you're saying to them, "Oh, I'm here to sell you this product," and usually they're wanting you to fuck off before you even answer the door.
See, one thing I've realised, right, and it always pops in my head when I see it. When I go to flying, right, there's doors that say no cold callers, and I'm like, if I was to be that job right now, people would hate me. People would hate me. So like, I think it was a blessing, doing that video and basically just putting it out there that I didn't take the job because I was buzzing. I was absolutely buzzing about it, and then I was like, to see them, I think people could tell the way my mood and my attitude changed the more it got towards. I was like, I was in training that day. I remember getting the job, got to train that day.
What was the training involved? Did that involve?
No, it was like, it was basically just, it wasn't even training, it was just talking to the guy.
Was that an induction or something?
I didn't even go, like, basically what happened was they said, "Oh, we would like you to come in and talk to Talk, which was the provider I would be working with." And I was like, "Right, no worries." And no, sorry, at that point, that was after I'd already quit the job, like, didn't even get a job, but said I couldn't do it. So I phoned them and they phoned me back and I was like, "Why don't you just come in?" I'm like, "No, I can't. Like, I physically can't go in." So I said, "No, I can't." But like, obviously I had a wee chat with him and I was like, "No, I'm sorry, I'll see you." But on that day, basically, I think what got me in was the fact that they were showing me money. Like, they were showing, they don't even actual money, they were showing me like, "Oh, that's what I could make that." And I'm like, that's what kind of stuck to my head. I was like, "Oh, I could make this very good money and spend it on wrestling." And I was like, that's what kind of put me in. But then I realised when it was, my mum was talking to me about it, my dad was, Davey, Zan, like, basically everybody was talking to me about it. And then I was like, "You know what? I'm no one for walking anyway." So walking about all day in a suit, man, I couldn't do that. So I had a chat with my mum and I had a chat with my parents at that point, and then I was just like, nah. Sat in my room and I don't know why, right, but I was dreading sending the message to him. I was like, "Oh, what am I going to do, man? I've made that TikTok, it's got like 20k views at that point." I'm like, "What am I going to do?" I've literally just put on the video that I'm going to the job, and I'm like, what? I don't want people to think I'm lying.
Yeah.
So
No, but I actually think I think putting yourself out there and then admitting that it's no for you. A lot of people would go along to a job and no, like I feel like it's better to tell the person, I actually don't think this is for me, than wasting everybody's time and going along to the job and being there for 2 days, and then the person needs to either you quit or they sack you or whatever it is, and then they need to go through the whole interview process again. Whereas you just say, actually, this isn't for me. Also, I think it's very mature. You always say about you being immature, but I actually feel like the putting yourself out there when you were very upset and you were apologising to people that were supporting you, stuff like that, through that video, it was very grown up and mature. A lot of guys, there's a big you probably hear it a lot about men's mental health, and there's a big stigma, but guys know talking about and know opening up and stuff like that. The fact that you were mature enough to not just open up and talk about your feelings, but to talk about them online and to talk about them in front of a lot of people on TikTok, I feel is very commendable of you. It's very, very grown up. It's one of the mature things that I've seen you do, to be fair, wee man. But I would also say as well, it came away after the back, is I feel like this is, with the local celebrity really ramped up. I feel like you got a lot more
100%.
following off the back of it, and through that I actually managed to parlay that into you getting some trial shifts. So I want to talk to you about that as
That's
well.
what I was going to ask you about. So James for Scrubs cleaning. Is it AJ?
Al's Clubs.
no,
AL.
it is AL Scrubs, because at times I called him ALS Scrubs. It was like that's his brother. That's another company that his brother owns. It's like carpet clean.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
I think that's what it was, because I called him ALS Scrubs, but it was AL Scrubs.
AL Scrubs.
But that shift was fantastic, man.
Did you love it?
It was not even just it wasn't even just like the job. It was a guy. Shout out to James, by the way, mate. He was amazing. He was so sound. It was like, it took me to clean our clothes, which was just it's so sweetening that. By the way, man, there's videos of me and I'm sweating like actual like see the amount like you need to doing that. I'm like, like sweating. At one point he done like mopping, and I'm like, how did I dare to fit fun? Because I'm like having to like, my knees were so tense because I'm like trying to stop myself with fun. Trying to stop myself for like fondling. So we done that, and then we went to clean a house that was like somebody was moving in, and we done. Yeah, you need to be so intricate with that. It's like actual, like you need to get all these wee bits, or else you'll get like it's meant. Some of the stuff you need to like see if there's a bit of dust under the sink. You need to get that, or else stuff like that. And I'm like, I couldn't do it.
You've
like,
obviously got the attention to detail
100%.
that you need to have.
And I was like, I cleaned one bit, and I was like, that's fine for me. And it was like, no, this, and this. I'm like, oh my, dad, like it's very. That job was very
got high
intricate.
standards.
And I was also see, like I was just expecting Job and then Heyman and that, but he also was an absolute legend that bought us something to eat. So I was fine with that. I'm buzzing with that. You know what I mean? So he literally bought. I think he bought me a rolling sausage and chips. I was like, mate, here we go, man. I love this. But like as long as like I've bit of food in my belly, mate, I'm fine. So but he bought me a rolling sausage and chips, and I'm like, oh man. And then we went back to his. Like to the shoot, I think it was his new place.
The new place where Alex is, isn't that as well? The storerooms.
It was his old place we went to, because it was. I think we were still hanging at that point, and I also like it was so nice, man. He even paid us for it. And all that. I'm like, mate, what are you like? I didn't for stuff like this. I'm just buzzing to be out.
Yeah.
Like videos, like I'm. Took a big break for posting a lot of videos, and don't you worry, David was on me for that. It was like, what you doing with your videos?
Jordan gets it, no?
I get it every day. I know. I know posting the videos.
I know, you're like, where's the videos? I'm like, right, cool. So in this, I'm starting to post a lot more again. So, but the videos, I think, were some of my most viewed videos. So I might need to bring that back, man, because like they were getting 40k, like 50k, and I mean, they were doing absolutely amazing.
That is crazy.
That shift was some fun. It was actually amazing.
And they also introduced you to Worksite Banter, didn't they?
Yes, they did. The actual heavy got me like 3 times. They were like, one point James went, well, I was painting one of his doors in his new place, right? And they went, go and, I can't remember the woman's name, but they were like, go and ask her for some tartan paint. Right? And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, cool, mate. I was like, right. But he told me what it was. It was like, it was this paint that has this cool tartan design when you do it. I'm like, how do you do that? But anyway, cool, I won't ask. So I put my stuff down. I was like, can I get some tartan paint? And she looked at me as if I was daft and started laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing for? And I said, and I was like, tartan paint. Oh my God. And I was like, oh, this is actual some. And then they said, what was it? Was it pigeon milk? Pigeon milk was the other one. It was like, oh, it helps with the windies. It was like, oh, go and get some pigeon milk. It helps with making the windies clean. I'm like, cool, can I get some pigeon milk? And she was actually laughing as well. I'm like, mate, what are you doing? How many are you going to do? I think I only done 2 that day. And I only done 2 of the ones. And then we filmed a TikTok where I punched him in the face. so I got my get back for that.
That was no bad. Then did you get any, what other shifts did you do? What other ones did I send you to?
Oh no. What else did I do? I think I'm going to do one soon again, I think.
With who?
Papali's, I think.
Oh, amazing.
But you went to Barbers, didn't you? Craig's.
Craig, mate. Oh, that was amazing as well. And some guys, these guys are all sound, by the way. I also got to cut somebody's hair, which was scenes.
Brilliant.
I didn't get to obviously cut the guy's hair, but I basically just like done a wee bit. And I was like, it wasn't even just the place. As I said, the guys were sound as well. Can't remember their names.
Can I pronounce it?
I feel bad. No, I didn't know, but the actual one.
Oh, it was Craig, wasn't it?
Craig White. Then there was 2 apprentices. I think it was another self-employed barber there as well. I think his name was Leon or something. I can't remember. And then somebody else who was an apprentice, and they were absolutely sound. We were all having a laugh, and they cut my hair. So it was, and then they also bought us lunch and dinner. So it was 2. It was double. So I was like, mate, see, they won up the other place. So
Can't remember apprentices, but can I remember a munchman?
100%. No, and then basically all I done that shift, it was so class. It was they would do their haircut, and all I done was I would go up to their station and wipe all the hair off their tools, and then put it back where it is, and then just literally for there. Go down, sit in one of the empty chairs and just sit and wait for them to finish their haircut again. You know what I mean? So it's no, see, like I think it's the people that make it, not the place, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is. Like,
definitely.
It definitely is. Like it doesn't matter where you're working. It genuinely is just the people that's there. Like you could make the hardest jobs so easy if you have the right people there. So like Craig and James, that they both did help that job make it so much easier. And the fact he even bought us like dinner and that, and for just being there was even so nice. Nothing. So I'll be doing a few more shifts hopefully in the future. So
because you never actually got a day work experience, obviously.
I never did. I did not. What another thing about leaving school that I hate though. See there that is like finally my year leaving. I'm getting all these photos of people's proms, and I'm like, my dream is to go to a prom. Definitely. Like, I want to
don't
go
need
to
to have a CPW prom.
What?
So Kaden can wear
I don't know.
very suit.
I think I was happy.
Prom or the
Aye.
teenagers.
Man, I was see
Prom
this,
night.
see a prom like that's what I was raging that I missed that, and like I think the only thing I got was a primary 7 disco, and that was some night, man.
We need to sort this out for
I
him.
don't know, man. For the J2Os.
So you've been talking there about doing the work experience and how they were buying you a munch. So the one thing we spoke about last time when you were on was your fussy eating.
Oh no.
So you and David done a wee series about the diary of a fussy eater. It was still right for me, a pair of bastards.
You stop doing it so you can stick it up.
No.
I'm actually not that fussy anymore.
I'm well doing it again. Oh mate, I'm still raging about that. Still raging.
What happened?
Oh mate, I was like, oh David, can I get some noodles in the restaurant? He was like, I mate, no worries. He made my noodles, right? And I walk up, open the lid, and there's vegetables in it. And I'm like, mate, what is this? What are you doing? I didn't ask for vegetables. And he went, oh, don't make your arrest like them, mate. I'm like,
You've done that for badness.
No, but then at one point he's like, look, nice peanut. And he's like,
oh, that was so funny.
he actually did his face. He's like, I was like, just eat the pea, kid. And he's like, all right. And he's like, and he's like, ate his noodles and poked the pea aside. Fucking child,
Right,
man.
so have you been trying more food?
Yes, actually.
What have you been trying?
Well, when we flied in on Lithgow, and I tried loaded mac and cheese fries with like stuff that they were banging. I'm actually raging mechanical. I was actually like, was ready to go back there on the day of the show, but it was.
I went back that day before.
Did you?
I went me, Magic Dave, and the Wanderer.
Aye, they did go that day. What else you been trying?
You've tried kebab sauce now?
I tried the kebab sauce, yes.
How was it?
That was the only sauce I liked was the garlic mayo.
Nice.
That was it.
What else? Any offers?
Tried something new last week with a breakfast wrap.
Oh, that was banging, man. I don't know what was in it. David was like, "But you want to eat for this place at lunch?" I was like, "Well, I'm very picky, so I was like, I don't know what it was." But people are getting breakfast wraps. I'm like, I'll just get a breakfast wrap, man. But I was never in my life trying black pudding. You would need to actual force me down before I could eat black pudding. Ever since I know what it was, it's like sheep blood in it.
Yeah.
I would never be able to.
Is it sheep blood?
I get a sheep blood, so I was like, nah. So I got the wrap right. I finished the first off, and I was like, that was banging. And I look inside it, I'm like, what is that? And there's egg in it. I'm like, I've never tried an egg in my life. So
No, that's not what you said. You said, I don't like eggs. I've never tried that in my life. I was like, no, it's not that you don't like it, Kaden. It's that you've never tried it in your life. You can't eat and not like something if you've never tried it. Know what I mean?
Story of my life.
I know. I've actually been so, mate, the amount of times I've said, like, it's actual mental, no matter what I've said. I was like, I don't like something. He's like, you've never tried it? I'm like, mate, I don't know what I can do. I'm like, mate, how do
Try it. That's what you can do. Try the food.
I went back to the Piquita videos again, and the other day I done one again, and it was just randomly something from my fridge. It was a radish.
Not I mean, who's got to be interested in seeing something? Nobody even knows what a radish is. You need to get, you know what you need to do? You need to get yourself a sweet and sour chow mein and get out on your Piquitas and then get yourself
sweet and sour chow mein.
And then get yourself some Peking ribs and get yourself something with black bean sauce, stuff that people know, mate. Like a squid. Eat some squid, mate. Call it KAYDEN CROSS Piquitas series squid game.
I'll make you a deal, right? I'll eat a squid if you do.
Sound in.
I'll eat a squid.
I'm not really a seafood guy, but if you want it.
I'll eat a squid if you do.
Bit of calamari.
Jesus Christ, why did I say that?
I want you, I know.
But my pick, I done the radish one, and I was like, see, like that one was just, I don't know, the amount of views I got for that was just me boating. I was like, I remember actual like, never in my like out of all the Piquita videos, I don't think one of them I have a actual like, and that one was like actual
disgusting. Didn't like it. Right, so we've run out of time here, but one more question. How did it feel winning the King of the Scheme a few weeks ago at the Govan Fair?
What was losing? I'll tell you that. But thought I was going to lose. It was very close. Danny Miller. I hate that boy. I'm joking. I don't know what to say. I don't know what I can say here about being Danny Miller. Pals. That's it.
Huh?
I don't want to break kayfabe. That's it.
Right, you say what you want.
Right, okay. Me and Danny Miller are good pals outside of wrestling. Love him to bits. He's like my absolute one of my best pals. But inside of wrestling, he's a dafty. But that day was absolutely amazing. I remember basically for the few. Did you say this in the podcast? But you did say it the last one.
Do you watch every week?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
There we go. He's one of the viewers as well.
But he said last week was about the picking up the shite thing.
You arguing with
you arguing with my mum. Like,
that's the way he's one of them.
Someday. It was actual some, and I remember walking up that day and going, I'm well getting in trouble for this. I'm definitely going to be battered and bruised after this. But like, I'm going to get embarrassed and showing up that day. And I was like, I'm not one. There's no way. And me and
there was shite on that flail and you didn't pick it up, man. You wouldn't have been winning, to be fair. He told me, he said, obviously said to me I was winning. I was like, that's actual brilliant. I'm like, yes. And I remember like, that's actual brilliant.
That's actual mate. That's brilliant. But see, my mum was still assumed that I was saying to my mum for ages, there's no point in thinking that I was going to win because I'm obviously going to get beat off Jinx. The first round beat off Jinx. There's no way I'm getting through past Jinx. Like, Jinx is solid and she's a good fighter. And
did battle you in a shoot fight, to be fair, the two of you.
But I got back the night before Rindles.
Right, keep going.
But my mum was absolutely buzzing. She loved it.
Oh, it's so nice seeing your mum and dad so proud of you.
Yes, they loved it. And then I walked the Govan Fair that same day. That was something. Like it wasn't even just like the walk. The walk was no. Like, it was mental how easy that walk was to me.
After like 2 years ago, you could barely even walk it.
It was absolutely phenomenal. I was walking it with no bar, but see, like, you know that way where you're so close to getting to it, and just all the energy leaves your body. I remember getting to, like, you know that street where the old Park there is?
Yeah.
Like that big long road.
Aye.
I got to that road and I was like, right, we're just that last wee bit, and I remember my legs just stopped working. I was like, come on, man. And I go to that bit where I met yous, and I was like, actual shattered, and he decided to annoy me again, so I was like, nah, mate, I'm not dealing with that today. But I would love to do any of that again, like, love to hold that ram seed again if I would.
Got the
I'll
opportunity.
sort that out for you next year. We can get you crowned the Golden Fair Queen next year as well.
I know
that you said that was the last thing, but I want to get, how much time we got left?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, good, because that means, right, because we took kind of spoke about me and Jamal arguing as well, so we can get into a bit of that merit, right? But we still also spoke about me. We spoke a few times about me trying to give you responsibility, try to teach you to grow up, all that stuff. But another thing I'm trying to teach you is the gym, know what I mean? How to go to the gym and stuff like that. The twos have been slacking a lot lately since we go to the church and that. Can't lie, I've been trying to juggle my time, and the one thing that's been probably missing out is the gym. But I want to get back there, but I want to talk to you a bit about that. How did that feel, know what I mean? Getting to go to the gym, doing all your box jumps, seeing all the support online with that and stuff like that. What was your thought about going to the gym before you ever went, and how do you feel about it now?
No point. That's what I thought before. I was like, there's no point. There's nothing you can do. In the gym, it was just, I don't know. I didn't really have a thought about it. It was just crap. I just didn't really. And then the more I was gone, I was seeing a change in myself and the strength, and like my body was getting used to it. And I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel amazing, starting to get used to it and all that. And like getting the personal best, man. Like box jumping when I got to the number 15, and just, you know that way when you're trying to get something like number 18, I was trying to get number 18, and just that was powering me through to try and get to that. So what I think about it now is that I definitely need to get back to the gym, because as like this year's a lot of shows, and I need to get in peak shape for these shows, man, because there's a lot of them, you know what I mean? So definitely need to get back to the gym.
And what did you think about the times that I used to make you get up to go to the gym for?
I hated it when I woke up. Despised them, hated them. I was like, nah, I don't want to wake up at this time.
What time did I used to get you up at?
Half 5 I woke up at before, because we used to leave at 6, so I 5:30 I woke up, and I was raging every single night I woke up. But then I started getting used to it. I was like, oh yes. At one point we used to go to 7, right? And we used to go to 7, and it was like, oh, I'm heavy busy for the next 8 weeks, so we're going to start going to 6. I'm like, mate, my body needs to get used to this. But I need to get back used to it. I need to get back into it, because a lot of shows. So next show is the Golden Rumble, you know what I mean? So.
And then when I told him it was 6 o'clock in the morning, I actually ended up in an argument with his mum. His mum was like to me, he's like, can't get up at that time, that's too early, David. And I was like, well, again, try to teach them life lessons about working that. Well, if you had a job, Kaden, sometimes you're working, you get told you need to get up at 7 o'clock and leave for your job, but sometimes you might get told, oh, you're working further away and you need to get up that wee bit earlier and you need to be these places. That's what always used to happen to me when I worked on the building sites and that. And I used to work in the welding. If we got to somewhere like Dundee, I'd need to be up at 5 in the morning to get picked up. So I was trying to teach you these lessons. So I ended up coming to a compromise with your man. We made it 6:30, I think it was. We ended up going it. And we got to the gym and stuff like that. As I say, we've been slacking a bit, but we'll get the finger out. Just I've been too busy, and Kaden hates going himself, don't you?
A wee bit.
Well, thank you, Kaden.
No worries.
Man, you want to say?
Always in my catchphrase after yours, but other than that.
I'm not to say mine on this.
You can.
No, she doesn't like me.
Say it.
You can say it the night. Go for it.
That's what's happening to it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Bye-bye.